Hi guys, it's Mizzzcleo, and I'm gonna talk about a subject that's dear to my heart, and it's self-harm. Most of you guys know it as cutting, cutting yourself. Why it's so dear to my heart is because I used to hurt myself. I used to cut myself. I was the cutter, and should I say was, because cutting yourself it's a long process. I started cutting myself at 15 years old. Until this day, I still have problems with it. Yeah, I still have problems with it. I still, sometimes I get angry, upset, and I feel, and sometimes I even do hurt myself again. It's something that, I feel like, when you have so much pain, and, you're kind of like numb because you can't tell people, you can't ask people for help, you can't tell them, hey, this is the way I feel, hey, can you please give me some guidance, some advice? You just can't. Like, I couldn't tell my sister what I was doing. I couldn't tell her, hey, this is when mom and dad fight, this is how I feel. I couldn't. I definitely could not. And I couldn't tell her, hey, the school's being a bitch. I just hate it so much. I'm not fitting in. Nobody likes me. Nobody accepts me for who I am. And I just felt like I couldn't just control it. Like everything was just spinning around. And like I wasn't controlling anything in my life. Like my life was controlling me. And by cutting myself, I felt like I controlled it. I put my anger towards it. And I just felt like it kind of relieved me. Kind of made me feel alive. Hurting myself. And I know a lot of people cut themselves. And I just wanted to make this video because I feel like it's good to speak out about it. I started cutting myself at 15 years old, sophomore. Today, I'm 17 years old, turning 18 the 24th, a senior in high school, and still struggling with it. It's like a long battle, but I think, and I know that, one day I can just go, hey, I was the cutter. I used to hurt myself, but now I'm not. I'm beyond that. And it's something that if you're doing it or you used to do it, talk about it. Tell somebody if you're doing it. Tell somebody, because if my sister wouldn't have found out that I was hurting myself, I don't think that I would be alive today. I seriously don't think that I would be alive today. Because when my parents used to fight, and it mostly happened my sophomore year when a lot of things in my family was having trouble. Sophomore year is like the worst year. And I would just run to the closet, just cut myself. Because I felt like nobody could help me. That nobody could help me. Like, I felt like nobody understood me. Like, I felt like I was the only one actually doing this to myself. And then I found out that, a lot of Americans, do that to themselves. Just felt like horribly that I couldn't talk to my sister about it before it just happened. Like, it just happened. Like, I found the relief. And she found out, like, maybe a year later, like 8 months before, after I started cutting myself. So I cut myself, and then 8 months later she found out. And she just told me directly, she's like, hey, when you go into a closet, what are you doing? And I couldn't tell her, I just hushed. I was like, oh, I'm not doing anything. And then she asked me again, and she's like, I know you're hurting yourself. Because I would come up with the random stories, like, my dog scratched me, and or I scratched myself. Or I actually accidentally cut myself. And I know she wasn't believing in my lies. So I told her, we talked about it, and we talked about how, she felt the same way when my parents used to fight. And it was mostly because of my parents. My mom thought that her problems were bigger than mine. She never cared to ask me. Okay, I don't have the most loving parents. My father is an alcoholic. My mother doesn't really, she cares, but she just thinks that her problems are bigger than hers. But I totally understand her, I totally don't blame her, because she's Mexican. Like, I'm not trying to justify it because she's Mexican, but how she was raised, her parents her parents told her that their problems were bigger than hers. So I feel like, the cycle repeats, but I wish I could tell her, but I fear that I cannot tell her because she wouldn't think it would be my problem. She would blame it on herself and like totally forget me. And I don't think I could ever tell my father because I'm not really close with my father. The close people around me know. It's so easier to tell strangers than the people around you, because I feel like if I can tell a stranger, they could judge me, but I really don't care what they have to say. And it's the people close to me, the ones I have to live with. Thanks for listening. Hope I didn't scare you guys for this video. If you cut yourself, or somebody who cuts themselves, it's better to talk to somebody. Ask for help. Totally ask for help. I know it's super duper 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 hard, and when the moment comes, you're gonna ask for help. Just don't let it control you. It's a very controlling thing. Just when just if you know somebody who does it, say something. Don't brush it off. It's not something to be brushed off.